The tulip is more than just a pretty flower here. It is a cultural symbol, a piece of history, and an entire economy wrapped in delicate petals. Every spring, fields across the Netherlands explode in color. The country produces billions of tulip bulbs each year, but during the bloom, it is not the numbers that matter. It is the view. Most of the action happens in a region known as the Bollenstreek, or bulb district, stretching between Haarlem and Leiden. Here, the fields are arranged like giant patchwork quilts, each plot dedicated to a single color or variety. From above, it looks like someone laid out miles of candy-colored ribbons across the landscape. On the ground, the effect is even more overwhelming. The beauty of tulip season is that it refuses to be static. The colors shift weekly as early varieties give way to later ones. One week, a field might be a solid ocean of yellow. Come back a week later, and it could be a mosaic of crimson and white. Every bloom is temporary, which makes each sighting feel like a limited edition release from nature itself. The crown jewel of tulip tourism is Keukenhof Gardens, often called the Garden of Europe. This 79-acre wonderland is planted with over 7 million bulbs each year, arranged in themed displays that feel like walking through a designer's portfolio. Here, the tulips are not just lined up in rows. They curl along paths, spiral into fountains, and frame lakes in shapes so perfect they seem planned by geometry itself. But the best part is not just looking, it is the atmosphere. Keukenhof becomes a living gallery where visitors from all over the world wander in a slow, happy shuffle, swapping cameras to capture each other against backdrops that could double as fantasy film sets. Yet, the real thrill for many comes from exploring outside the garden gates. Cycling through the bulb fields is a rite of passage here. You rent a bike, grab a map, and suddenly you are pedaling between waves of purple and gold. There is no soundtrack except the whir of your wheels, the occasional bird call, and the distant hum of a tractor tending to the next masterpiece in bloom. Tulips may be a feast for the eyes, but they also carry a story that shaped the Netherlands. In the 17th century, the country experienced Tulip Mania, when prices for rare bulbs skyrocketed to absurd levels. At its peak, a single bulb could cost more than a house. The bubble burst, as bubbles do, but the fascination never faded. Today, tulips remain a proud export, shipped around the world to decorate weddings, homes, and gardens. Despite their luxurious image, tulips are surprisingly low maintenance in the wild. Dutch growers plant them in autumn, let the winter cold do its work, and then watch as spring transforms those silent fields into a color storm. Harvest comes quickly, as the flowers are cut and bulbs collected for sale. That urgency is part of what makes visiting during the short bloom season so magical. Miss it, and the fields are just flat earth again, waiting for another year. For photographers, tulip season is both a dream and a challenge. The light changes by the minute in the Netherlands, and clouds can turn a vivid shot into something moody in seconds. But that unpredictability is part of the fun. Every photo feels like a collaboration between you and the sky. The Dutch have embraced this beauty as part of their identity. During the tulip season, entire towns host festivals. There are flower parades with floats covered in blooms, markets selling tulip-inspired everything, and cafes offering limited edition pastries topped with candy petals. It is an entire culture leaning into the moment. Local etiquette is simple. Look, admire, and take all the photos you want, but do not trample the fields. Each row represents months of work, and one careless step can ruin a section. Paths and viewpoints are set up so you can get your dream shot without leaving a footprint. One of the most surreal experiences is catching the early morning light when the fields are still wrapped in mist. The colors seem to glow from within, and for a few minutes, it feels like the world is holding its breath. By mid-morning, the sun breaks through, and the scene turns vivid enough to make sunglasses feel necessary. What makes tulip season unforgettable is not just the flowers. It is the sense of time slowing down. You are surrounded by something that has been carefully planted, patiently nurtured, and will be gone in a matter of weeks. It reminds you that beauty is often brief, and that is exactly why it matters. For travelers, timing is everything. The season typically peaks between late March and mid-May, but it shifts slightly each year depending on weather. Plan too early, and you will see mostly green shoots. Plan too late, and the harvest will already be underway. The sweet spot is when the fields and Keukenhof are both at their best, turning the region into one seamless celebration of spring. No matter how many photos you take, the memory of walking through those colors stays sharper than any image. You will remember the scent of fresh blooms carried on a cool breeze, the way rows of tulips seem to stretch forever, and the quiet pride of the people who grow them. The Netherlands has many treasures, but during tulip season, the entire country feels like it has been wrapped in a ribbon and handed to the world. It is a reminder that some of the best experiences cannot be bottled, stored, or repeated exactly. They have to be lived in the moment. So if you ever have the chance, go. Stand in the middle of that endless patchwork of color. Breathe it in. And let yourself be reminded that beauty, when shared with the world, is one of the simplest and most powerful things we have. If you enjoyed this journey, subscribe for more travel stories that take you somewhere extraordinary. And in the comments, tell us, if you could step into any seasonal wonder, where would you go first?